The Lloydminster Public School Division has announced their Director of Education, Todd Robinson, has submitted his resignation. Robinson has been the Director of Education since August of 2014. In a release to the media, LPSC's Board of Education says under his direction they have increased graduation rates and achievement levels. Robinson will depart the division later this school year. The city of Lloydminster has seen an uptick in business license applications this year, and that growth is being attributed to new startups and home-based businesses. With the increase in home-based businesses, the city reviewed their policies and council passed a new amendment relating to home-based businesses. Some of the new restrictions include limiting the number of customer visits to 5 a day and no more than 25 a week. The city's development officer will work with applicants to ensure they know the rules.
Apply for a home-based business license. They'll be going to the planning department. They go through the process with our planning team to ensure that they can meet the requirements as well as they understand the requirements.
Vehicle traffic and parking was another concern that was addressed in the bylaw. Businesses cannot generate more traffic. That is the norm for the neighborhood, and off-street parking is required.
Having traffic come very early in the morning or late at night is not conducive to great family life for some homes with young children and things like that. So we have to be respectful of our neighbors, and I think that's where the intention of the bylaw took us.
Last year's parade of lights was confined to the parking lot at the Lloyd X, but as Tate Lightcraft found out today, this year's convoy is set to return to the streets.
Joining me this afternoon on Primetime Local News is the president of this year's Parade of Lights, which is coming up next Monday, December 20th. Diving right in though, Ryan LeBlanc, welcome to the show, but what can you tell our viewers about next week's parade?
Yeah, right on. Thanks for having me. So this year, we're excited to be able to have it back downtown Lloydminster. I know that was something last year with the restrictions. We had to do it at the exhibition, just a drive-through event. So we're so excited to be able to do it back downtown, down Highway 17 and up 49th again, and just bring those floats out onto the street again and see everybody smile. So we're excited to be back out on the street again. So.
And I know you already mentioned it briefly, but would you mind just kind of going a little bit more in depth on this year's parade route?
So we're going to start on 46th Street and Highway 17. Sorry, not 46th Street. We're going to start on 56th Street on Highway 17, and it's going to go down Highway 17 to 46th Street, and then over to 49th Avenue, and then back north on 49th Avenue to the Lloydminster Exhibition Grounds there. So.
And I also saw that the parade is collecting toy donations for Lloydminster's sexual assault services. So would you mind just touching base on what you're looking for there?
Yeah, you bet. So we've actually got 5 different charities involved this year, the Lloydminster Sexual Assault Services being one of them. So we are doing a toy collection for them. We've got a number of toys and teddy bears that we've had brought in already. So we're so excited for that and thankful. So we're going to be donating those to the sexual assault services here in Lloydminster. The other 4 charities that we're going to be splitting the cash between is the Lloydminster Agriculture Exhibition Association, the Lloydminster Men's Shelter, Kids Sport Lloydminster, and we're going to be including the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation once again. So they've been a part of it since the first year. So we're excited to open it up and include a few more charities to benefit from our event. And we're excited for this time of year and to see all the smiles out on the streets. And looks like it's going to be a cold one, but you know what, with previous years it didn't seem to be an issue. People just bundle up, and I've even heard some hot chocolate stands are going to be out and around the route there. So we're just so excited and grateful for the community support for this event.
And just before we wrap things up here, for anyone who might want to keep a tab on the parade over the weekend, where's a good spot for them to go online?
Yeah, you bet. So just watch our Facebook page. It's going to be all the information regarding the parade of lights is going to be there. The parade starts at 7 p.m. sharp, so the barricades will go up. So we are asking the community not to park within the parade route. as it does hinder some people's view. As well, we are going, for those that aren't able to make it to this year's event, huge thanks to Forge's Media and Vider Images and Kurt Price. They're going to be live streaming the event on our Facebook page. So for those that aren't able to come out that night, definitely tune into our Facebook pages and they'll be able to watch the event from the comfort of their wherever they are.
Thanks so much for your time, Ryan.
With minor hockey making its full return this year, Lloydminster will be hosting its first tournament since the pandemic began. Josh Howerlack has the details for this weekend's U11 tournament.
Joining me today is the Kuntz family to give me some details on what will be the first minor hockey tournament to return to Lloydminster. Jody Kuntz has been hard at work organizing the tournament, and her two sons, Rhett and Alex, will be playing this weekend. So to start, with this being the first tournament to come back to the city, how are you guys feeling heading into the weekend?
I'm feeling good. Pretty good.
Pretty excited, I think, hey?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been to one tournament so far, so it's nice to have one at home now.
Yeah. And so for you, Jody, you've been the one who's been working to organize the tournament. Have you had any kind of challenges with the organizing of it?
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth sailing. It's just getting back into the rhythm of things, and it's the usual. Nothing too major. COVID really hasn't stopped any issues. The guidelines in Saskatchewan are pretty good for kids playing sports, so.
And then you had already mentioned that the team has gone to one tournament already. Sort of, what was that like for you guys?
It's fantastic. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to be back. They're enjoying it.
And then, yeah, I've played hockey my whole life, and I'd say tournaments were definitely my favorite part. Why do you think that tournaments are so important for kids playing hockey?
Oh, mental health, playing with your friends. Yep.
And being active.
And being active. Yep, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, and then sort of, would you be able to, sorry, what was that?
Getting back to some sort of normalcy.
And then just to get some details on the tournament, would you be able to tell me sort of when and where, how many teams you guys have coming out?
It's Art and Joan Roberge Memorial Tournament. I think it's been going on for, 25 years now? There's 6 teams coming, and we start tomorrow, Friday at 4 o'clock, Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 9 a.m.
And then with this being the first tournament that the city's been able to host really since COVID has began, do you have any sort of expectations going into the weekend? How you think it'll go?
I don't think so. It's the same. Running, it's the same. Just have parents masked up in the bleachers, and that's about it. That's all it's going to be different.
That's great. That's all the questions that I had. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Hey, just excited to play. Hey, boys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because last year we didn't get to really play.
No, we didn't.
Great. Thanks for taking the time to talk with me, and good luck on the weekend.
Now Shelby Clark will get a first look at your Friday forecast. Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast. We're here in the border city, TGIF. Am I right? We are finally here at the weekend. It has been very cold this week, so I think everybody is excited to finally have the weekend off here. But we do have an extreme cold warning in effect, especially here in the border city as well. We are sitting at -25, and although it was sunny, it didn't really save it, especially with that wind chill. It feels like -33, so if you are outside and driving around, please be cautious. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most are seeing around -25, -26 degrees. It is -22 in Edmonton right now. Marwayne is at -28 degrees and Provost is at -27. So we are looking a lot cooler. And switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing around the same as what we are seeing on the Alberta side. -23 in Isla Crosse as well as down in Green Lake. Most are seeing -27, -26 as well. Meadow Lake is at -25 degrees, while down in Macklin and North Battleford, they are at -22, -23. Switching over to North Battleford overnight. night, though, they will be going down to a low of -34. So they do have an extreme cold warning in effect as well throughout the night. They are saying that there can be frostbite within minutes. So please be careful out there if you're going to be outside whatsoever. Tomorrow they will be seeing -19 for their high. Switching over to Cold Lake, they'll be going down to a low of -31. They have the same with the extreme cold warning in effect. So please be cautious if you're outside at all. If you're, please plug in your vehicles as well throughout the night because we will be dropping really low. Tomorrow they'll be seeing -16 for their daily high. And for here in the border city, we'll be going down to a low of -32. With that wind chill, it'll feel like -41. So we are going to be very cool as well. Tomorrow we'll see -17 for our weekend. And switching over to our 3-day forecast for here in the border city, as I was saying, we'll be seeing a cooler weekend. We'll be seeing -17 with a low of -32. So please be careful out there. Sunday will end off slightly warmer at -13 with a mix of some sun and cloud. And starting off next week, we'll be starting on a cool track again with -17 on Monday. That's the first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break. Welcome back. Farmers are relying on a good amount of moisture this winter so they can get off to a good start come springtime. Jillian Code spoke with a weather expert on predictions for the winter and an upcoming ag weather seminar.
Today I'm joined by Scott Kaler, who is the president and chief scientist with WeatherLogix. Now, I know we're only partway through December, but after the drought this year, I know a lot of farmers are keeping their eye on the amount of moisture that we're getting. So Scott, just exactly how much moisture will we need to get a good start next spring?
Well, to get good recharge of soil moisture depends on the area. Some of the soils across the prairies are heavier clays, which hold a lot of moisture, and some are lighter type soils, which lose their moisture very quickly. So it would depend on where exactly the farmer is located and what type of soil they work on. But overall, if you just look at the picture right now, pretty much all of the prairies are experiencing a deficit in soil moisture, and that's worse in Saskatchewan and Manitoba. So farmers are hoping for some good snowfall this winter to help recharge the soil once it melts. And then also some timely spring rains would also make a big difference.
And for long-term forecasts, what's it look like is going to happen?
Well, this winter we have what's called a La Nina event going on in the Pacific Ocean, which is when the Central Pacific is colder than normal. And under those conditions, it usually favors a cooler and wetter winter across the prairies. So far, the trends we're seeing tend to favor more of that cool and wet weather, a little bit weighted toward the west, so more in Alberta and maybe western Saskatchewan, whereas eastern Saskatchewan, Manitoba are so far looking like probably more of a normal winter temperature-wise and also normal precipitation. So if we do see this trend continue, that would be probably beneficial mostly to farmers more in the western prairies, whereas in the east, they'll probably still be looking for more precipitation come spring.
And for springtime, what's the ideal kind of moisture situation?
I think people would be hoping for a more of a gradual melt in the spring when that does arrive, because if you get a really rapid melt, the soil is still frozen and most of the moisture will run off. A more gradual melt would allow the soil to warm up more slowly and the snow to melt more slowly, and that way more of it can find its way into the ground.
So is there much that farmers can do to help retain a bit of moisture?
Well, in terms of snowfall, it's kind of difficult with that, especially on the prairies. We get a lot of strong winds during these snow events, and so the snow does also like to tend to blow off the fields. There are other water management techniques that some farmers have started using, but that's more to manage rainfall during the growing season, so they'll have their own retention areas to store water and things of that nature. But from a winter point of view, really the main thing is just trying to get a lot of snow and hope that it melts in a way that helps it actually find its way into the ground.
And you guys have an ag webinar scheduled for the new year. What can you tell me about that?
Our webinar will be on January 26th at 9 a.m. Mountain Time or 10 a.m. Central Time. And what we're going to talk about is prairie climates. So what are some things about prairie climate that are unique? What does a normal year look like? And how have recent years compared to what normal is? And we'll also have an expert on agriculture practices come in and also talk about some tips for farmers and how they might be able to use some of that knowledge to their benefit.
And then is there a registration fee, and where can people go to register?
It's free to attend, so all you need to do is just go to weatherlogics.com, and on our blog, there's a link to sign up.
Scott, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Have a good day.
And now we'll take a look at your egg prices. The Lloydminster Bobcats will wrap up games going into the Christmas break this weekend. Before they hit the road, Evan Kenny caught up with the Bobcats captain to talk about the festive season.
Well, the Lloydminster Bobcats have 2 more games ahead of the Christmas break, including one here tonight where they will travel to Blackfalds. Joining me ahead of his game is Lloydminster Bobcats captain and forward Chad McLean. Chad, thanks for taking this time. We're just going to talk a little bit, about the Christmas time of the year. So just starting things off, Chad, what are your plans for the holiday season?
So I'm gonna go to Edmonton. My girlfriend goes to the U of A there, and I'm gonna go spend a couple days with her, and then she's got to work until the 23rd. So then I'm gonna head her home and spend some time with my parents and my brother, and just relax around the house.
Now we're going to be going through some of the favorites from around this time of the year. So I guess just starting things off, what is your favorite part of the holidays?
Just seeing all my family and having everybody over at one house and getting to catch up with everybody, and it's just so nice because I don't get to see a lot of those people throughout the year. So it's just nice to see everybody and have some fun, have a nice dinner and catch up.
Now that you do play junior hockey and, don't live at home, you don't get to see the family as often. It's probably even that much more special, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't get to see your family as much, but, this is just a shout out to all our billets here, because the billets, my billets, Melissa and Josh Peterson, they have done an unbelievable job and they make me feel at home here. And it's crazy. It's crazy how much you grow and feel a part of their family.
All right, next, Chad, what is your favorite Christmas movie?
Oh, geez, I'd have to go with Polar Express. I watched that one as a kid quite a bit on Christmas Eve, and it was real cool. I always wanted to hop on that train and hoping one day they would swing by my door.
Now, putting you on the spot a little bit here, I can never think of one off the top of my head, but what's your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, geez, well, I can't say that one by Mariah Carey because I've heard that one probably 9 million times, but geez, that's pretty hard. I'll just have to go with one of the classics, Jingle Bell Rock, something like that.
And finally, Chad, does your family have a Christmas tradition that sticks out to you?
Well, on Christmas Eve, my mom always makes a bunch of appetizers and stuff, and chicken wings, and you name it, it'll be on the table, and then we sit around and have those, and then we all sit down for a Christmas movie on Christmas Eve. So that's one of the things I like most, just hanging out with my family.
All right, Chad, now we're going to play a little game. I'm calling it this or that pretty much. I'm going to be giving you 2 different options, and you're going to have to pick your favorite of the 2. Starting things off, we're going to go to the dessert category with a couple different cookies here. So do you like gingerbread or shortbread?
Oh, probably shortbread, because the gingerbread, it seems to get a little tough, a little hard. I like a soft gingerbread or a soft shortbread cookie.
And at Christmas dinner, are you a turkey guy or maybe a Christmas ham kind of guy?
Probably a turkey guy, like the dark meat off the turkey. I could eat that all night.
And final question, Chad, is it eggnog or would you take hot chocolate as your drink of choice?
Oh, probably eggnog. I used to be a hot chocolate guy when I was a kid, but I think I've grown into eggnog.
Well, Chad, thank you very much for taking this time and joining me. Best of luck this weekend. And I think it's safe to say Bobcats fans will be excited when on the 29th, you guys are back at home playing.
Yeah, you betcha. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. And I hope you have good holidays and get to see some family and have good holidays.
Now, Shelby Clark will get another look at your forecast.
Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we do still have an extreme cold warning in effect. Now looking at the central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan, on the Alberta side, most are seeing that minus 23 degree point, minus 21 in Edson, while Edmonton is at minus 22, minus 24 and 25 in Whitecourt and Athabasca, while Jasper is the warmest, sitting at minus 16 degrees. Switching over to this side here on the Saskatchewan side, they are seeing around the same as what Alberta side is seeing, minus 26 in Meadow Lake as well as in Cold Lake there, minus 21 in Prince Albert and Saskatoon, while it is minus 24 degrees in North Battleford and is minus 26 in Melfort. And now switching over to our northern region of the provinces, we are seeing some slightly cooler temperatures in the northern region as usual. Uranium City is even past minus 30 at that minus 31 point, minus 20 in Stony Rapids, while it is minus 25 in Wollaston Lake and South End. Flin Flon and La Ronge are seeing slightly warmer at minus 22 degrees and it is minus 27 in La Loche and Buffalo Narrows. Switching over to this side here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures as well. Most usually in this area here in Grand Prairie, they do see some slightly warmer temps, but they are cooling down quite a bit with minus 27 in Grand Prairie, Peace River and Fort McMurray, minus 26 in Slave Lake, and high level in Fort Chipewyan are the coldest, sitting at minus 29, minus 30 degrees. Switching over to our southern region of the provinces, they are cooling down quite a bit as well, but they aren't seeing as bad as what we are seeing in the central and northern region. It is minus 16 in Lethbridge, minus 20 in Medicine Hat, while Calgary is at minus 17 degrees, minus 14 in Banff, and Coronation is the coolest at minus 25. Switching over to this end here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temps. Most are seeing that minus 20 point, minus 24 to minus 26 in Swift Current and Kindersley area, while Estevan is at minus 18. Now switching back to across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we will be cooling down quite a bit across the region as I was saying, that we do have an extreme cold warning in effect. Most will be seeing below minus 30 across the region, minus 30 for Isle Cross tonight, a low of minus 32 for Pearceland, Bonnyville and Provost and Wainwright throughout the night. Murnum and Meadow Lake will be seeing a low of minus 31, while Paradise Hill and Unity will be seeing a low of minus 34, but we will be having that wind chill across the region, so it will be a little bit cooler than that, so make sure you are bundling up and staying warm out there. And now switching to temperatures tomorrow across the region, we will be kind of slightly warming up a bit for our Saturday, ranging from around minus 16 to minus 18 degrees in most spots on the map. And now ending off with our 7-day forecast for here in the border city, we'll be seeing minus 17 and a low of minus 32 for Saturday, so we will be seeing a cold day. So if you're getting some last minute holiday shopping done, which you shouldn't be, you should be all done by now. It's going to be a little bit cool out there, so make sure you are driving safe. Ending off the weekend, we'll see minus 13. And next week, we'll be having that cold track continue on with minus 17 on Monday, seeing cloudier skies throughout the week. And on Thursday and Friday, we'll be seeing our coolest temperatures with minus 19, minus 22 on Friday to end it off. That's another look at your weather forecast. We'll have more coming up after the break. Joining us today for this week's entertainment panel is the Abby St. John. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Of course.
Now, starting off, we got some interesting topics on the table for this week's entertainment panel. Starting off with a new film, The Lost City. The trailer was released earlier this week. You know, it features some big names like Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, and Daniel Radcliffe. And, you know, it was pretty interesting watching that trailer because we didn't know what was going to be all involved in it. And it even shows some of Brad Pitt that comes in a bit later on. And it's supposed to be a new action adventure comedy type. And it already looks just so hilarious from looking at the trailer.
Yes, it does look hilarious, and it's an interesting mix of actors. You know, you have Sandra Bullock, who's hilarious in anything she does. Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, and like you said, Brad Pitt does show up later in the trailer. So it's definitely an interesting mix of cast members. Now, the plot of this movie is Sandra Bullock plays a famous author who has this romance adventure series called The Lost City, and Channing Tatum is the cover model portraying the main character. So neither of them are adventurers. They don't go on adventures. It portrays her as this homebody who drinks wine in the bathtub constantly, so they don't go outside much. Daniel Radcliffe plays a rich man who then forces Sandra Bullock's character to help him find this lost city. He kind of has this obsession with finding the treasures that are lost in this city. So she has really no choice in this and kind of gets kidnapped by him. And then Tatum finds that out and then decides he's gonna go try and save her, even though he's not the hero. He just, portrays the cover of one on the book. So that in itself sets up for a pretty funny adventure between the two. It's an unlikely duo that in the trailer it seems hilarious and it seems like the perfect duo. And then later, Brad Pitt kind of shows up and he's an actual adventurer who is hired to save her, and he kind of looks like the main character of her book, which Channing Tatum portrays on the cover. So that's kind of interesting. And then you have that trio of three kind of fighting their way out of this lost city against Daniel Radcliffe's character. So it does seem hilarious. It may not be a cinematic masterpiece, but it definitely will have that comedy and that action mixed in together. So I'm pretty excited to see it. It comes in theaters March of 2022, so we only have to wait a few more months to see it, but I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be action packed, and definitely a good film, lighthearted film to go see.
Yeah, exactly. From seeing the trailer, it did look like it was going to be added to a good list of late night movies or just good comedies that you want to rewatch when you're, just chilling for a night in and all that. So it looks like it's going to be interesting, and especially seeing Daniel Radcliffe from watching it like Harry Potter to being this kind of rich villain in this movie. And then you got Sandra Bullock, yes, who was hilarious. Channing Tatum, he's got some jokes in him as well. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be a good plot. So I thought it was going to be interesting. I thought it was a good idea, especially being a reader myself, seeing an idea of just them being put into basically her own idea of her own book. That's going to be pretty cool. But there is more talk about a new movie that is going to be coming out, and it's going to be not coming out till 2023. Now it's called Oppenheimer, and it's Christopher Nolan's next project. And there's talk right now of how it's supposed to be released in theaters July 21st of 2023, and it's going to be an upcoming World War II movie. And now there's even talk online of how Emily Blunt is supposed to be starring in it.
Yes, there is a pretty large cast of well-known actors. Now this film is about it's a historical thriller based on the life of American theoretical physicist J. Robert Oppenheimer, who will be played by Cillian Murphy for those Peaky Blinder fans out there who knows him very well. Emily Blunt will be playing his wife, and then we have Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Rami Malek, Matt Damon, and Benny Safdie also filling up that cast list. There's not much on the plot. Other than it is an epic thriller that thrusts audiences into the pulse-pounding paradox of the enigmatic man who must risk destroying the world in order to save it. So it definitely has that thriller aspect that Christopher Nolan is well known for. It's going to be through Universal Studios, which brings the end of Nolan working with Warner Brothers, because he had stated that he did not like how Warner Brothers was putting films in theaters and on streaming services. He didn't like that. So he's now moved on to Universal Studios. We don't know much about the plot other than it is a thriller, so definitely expect that. Great cast list. Florence Pugh, she's coming off of some incredible films. Midsummer, she had an Oscar nom for her role in Little Women. So she's coming off of that. Robert Downey Jr., of course, he's Robert Downey Jr., so you can expect a big role and a great role from him. Rami Malek coming off of No Time to Die as the villain in that. So a great cast list all wrapped into one. And Christopher Nolan being the fantastic director that he is, I am very excited for this film, and I think it's going to be very exciting and very interesting. We have the life of J. Robert Oppenheimer, who created the atomic bomb. So it's definitely going to have that sciencey aspect to it as well. So I'm very excited. Unfortunately, we do have a little bit of a wait, as like you said, it's coming out July of 2023. So hopefully there won't be any setbacks or anything, so we do get that when it is slated. So I'm very excited to see more as we learn more about it closer to, and maybe when we get a teaser trailer or the full trailer coming out, we'll be able to understand more of what to expect with this film. But I think it's going to be good. Christopher Nolan, he always has something up his sleeve to make have his film stand out among the rest. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. It's going to be really interesting. I can't wait for more information to come out about it, especially with everybody that you listed off there. And it's going to be interesting to see the chemistry they all have on screen, of course. But I think it's going to be a great project. I'm a Peaky Blinders fan myself. I love that show, so it's going to be really cool to be able to especially see him in it as well with Emily Blunt. But hopefully we'll get some more information soon, even though it will be a couple years. But it's okay. We got lots of more good projects coming out soon here for 2022, so I think everybody will be pretty patient. But that's all the time we have for now, unfortunately. Thanks again so much for joining us today, Abby.
Of course, thank you.
Santa Claus, he's a busy guy this weekend, and he's making a couple of stops in our area coming up on Sunday. The Lloydminster Youth Council, they've invited Santa to town on Sunday so that you can go skating with him. The family skate starts at 2, and then for the teenagers, they can skate with Santa starting at 7:30 p.m. And the skate's going to take place on the oval outside by the Service Sports Center. There's going to be snacks, prizes, games, special guests, and so much more. And Santa Claus, he's also going to be in Wainwright coming up on Sunday morning. There's going to be an opportunity to enjoy brunch with Santa. Brunch begins at 9. Santa will make his arrival at 10, and that's being hosted by the Wainwright Elks and Royal Purple. It's always a magical evening when the Parade of Lights winds its way through the city streets of Lloydminster, and the 7th Parade of Lights, it's coming up this Monday night. The parade route, it's now available on their Facebook page, so you can pick the perfect spot to watch the parade on Monday evening. It's scheduled to get underway at 7 o'clock. Proceeds raised from the Parade of Lights, they go to a number of different organizations in the city, including Kids Sport Lloydminster, the Lloydminster Men's Shelter, the Lloyd X, and the Lloydminster Region Health Foundation. And coming up tomorrow, the Lloydminster Museum and Archives is going to help you get into the Christmas spirit with their drop-in craft. You can drop in anytime between 10 and 6, just $5 to take part. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Happening is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, and Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
I'm joined here today with Doug Lawrence, and he is an author and mentoring expert. Now, first of all, Doug, I'll get you just to go a little bit into how you started writing and becoming a mentor.
So and I'll take you way back. I'll go back. I'm a Saskatchewan farm boy, and I'm a retired Royal Canadian Mounted Police officer. So I served for 25 years in the RCMP and kind of bounced all over the place in doing so. I ended up in the fall of, actually I retired from the force in 1999. What ended up happening was that I was job coaching university students, helping them, go from putting together a resume, cover letter, and job interviews and all of that. What would happen is once they got hired, then they would come across something that they didn't know how to deal with. So they'd call me up and they'd say, okay, Doug, tell me, how do I deal with this? And what started out as job coaching ended up morphing itself into mentoring, and for my own company that was focused on mentoring and mentor certification. And as a result of that, I ended up publishing The Gift of Mentoring in 2014. And I started to do some research based on, I was actually asked by people, this whole thing of mentoring that you're doing, it would be a great thing to do in the mental health space. And so I did some research and started to pull some stuff together. And what I came to realize was that I actually had post-traumatic stress and didn't know it at the time as a result of my service in the force. And so it was doing that and then being able to take all of that information to start to write my second book, which is You Are Not Alone.
With You Are Not Alone, did you write this for mentors who are looking to help other people, or just people in general who are trying to improve themselves and their mental health?
it's a combination of a few things. It is definitely, yes, for mentors who want to pique their curiosity to be able to better understand how they may be of service to somebody who is actually dealing with mental health, mental well-being, all of those things. It was also therapeutic for me as well, very therapeutic in that the more that I dug deeper, the more I started to realize that I too had mental health issues that I was trying to deal with and all of that. So that's kind of what got me going in that direction.
And what would you say is the biggest thing you would want somebody to take away from this book?
The biggest takeaway is that it's okay to reach out and ask for help. There's the stigmatism that, people that are dealing with mental health are, they're maybe the words I've been told is, well, that person is dealing with mental health, they're crazy. And no, they're not. They're like everybody else. And so what I tell people is that, don't be afraid. You need to come out. You need to come out of the closet and reach out and say, I need help. And if you do that, then there's going to be somebody there to be able to, certainly from the mentoring perspective, is that there's going to be somebody there that's going to be able to give you that help that you need. And it could be as simple as just listening and hearing what the person has got to say.
And since this book is set to come out in January 2022, are you hoping that people pick it up and kind of use it as a way to help out their New Year's resolutions?
That's a really good idea. I like that. And I do hope, it would be ideal that because it's in pre-order stage right now, that I would hope that somebody goes, I know somebody that could benefit from that. I'm going to pre-order the book for them and put a note in their Christmas stocking that this is what's coming for them.
And if anyone is looking to purchase any of your works as well as pre-order your newest book, where should they go?
Right now it's available for pre-order on the Amazon website. So if you just, in the search box, if you just type in "You Are Not Alone," it'll direct you and you can go in and pre-order. And then like you mentioned, on the 17th of January, we go live with the book.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Doug.
Well, thank you for having me.
And we'll be ending off with taking another look at your 7-day forecast. Here, as I was saying, this weekend we will be a little bit cooler with -17 on Saturday, ending off slightly warmer on Sunday at -13 with a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. So please be careful if you're driving out there on those roads, since it will be very cool this weekend. Next week we'll be continuing that cold pattern at -17 on Monday, seeing a lot more cloud coverage throughout Tuesday and Wednesday there. And then Thursday we'll be cooling down quite a bit again at -19 and -22 next Friday with a little mix of some sun and cloud. Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News this evening, and have a great weekend.